I saw you beat the piss in 2023 out of the Buccaneers earlier in the year. I saw them kick the shit out of you in the playoffs. That don't mean dick, dude. What happened in 23? You beat Bucks early, and then on that playoff game, you got your fucking heads kicked in. Bring it down now to really the final 3 games of the National Football League and pretenders and contenders. First and foremost, though, I want to start this out. I was just telling Xander, I saw one of the coolest things on the planet this past weekend. And I'll tell you, man, this Fernando Mendoza kid gave the greatest Heisman Trophy speech of all time. Everything that personifies winning, everything that personifies hard work, being an underdog, being a 2-star guy, and going on and transforming a college football program like Indiana, and to sit there to be winning the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night. He's a credit to the Cuban community in South Florida. I mean, that was just a fucking great speech. I talked to Dave Dunn this morning, his high school football coach, who went to my high school in Stamford, Connecticut. And he went to Columbus High School. You talk about character. This kid is just riddled with it. Now, I don't know if he's a first-round guy, but I'll tell you what. A general manager is probably going to draft him high. And you know what? It'd be privileged, and I'd be proud to have a guy like that on my football roster. That guy personifies everything that you want in a champion. That guy personifies winning. That guy personifies hard work. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm going to be wrong with a character guy. I really fell in love with Fernando Mendoza over the weekend. Man, has that guy got somebody. He sounds like Tom Brady. He just sounds like Tom Brady, man. It's just a winner. And every single kid, man, he gave a speech and he was talking about like, hey, if you think that you're not good enough, just think of this. I didn't either, and here I am holding the Heisman. That guy's going to be an NFL quarterback, man. I am absolutely just thrilled that guy represents South Florida. Going to Columbus, Christopher Columbus High School. And now the Explorers have a Heisman Trophy winner. Kudos to you guys, man. All right. That was awesome. I really enjoyed. Well, again, you see Abe? Abe goes the backup. Abe goes the backup. Yeah, that's what they thought Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady was the backup. That's what they were drafted for, being a backup. Silz, did you tune in to any high school football championship? Carson's Palmer team looked amazing. De La Salle didn't get off the bus. I was shocked that De La Salle didn't get off the bus. I watch all that. I keep in touch with high school football because of the University of Miami and Mario Cristobal. I do. I see all the great kids and all the great programs that are around the country. And I was glad to see that, Xander's school. I didn't know Xander went to that school before me and him met, but I knew St. Joe's. St. Joe's, Don Bosco up in like the New England area. Those are some of the best high school. Penn Hills over in Pittsburgh. There's so many great high school football programs. Cherry Hill's got some great football programs. In the New Jersey area, there's so many great football conferences. In my opinion, I played in the greatest college potential, like giving kids to go to colleges. I played in the FCAC. It's one of the greatest high school football conferences in New England. And so many pros have come out of there. Dwight Freeney came out of there. So many people have come and gone out of that conference. Steve Young played in that thing. We had a couple Hall of Famers play in it. Truly remarkable. So kudos to Fernando Mendoza. Now, the fucking glazed donuts are out in force. I knew it. I said it. Thursday and Friday, you're going to have people now try to tell me off that Raider game, you're going to try to have people tell me that the Eagles are back. Here, I'll give you, first and foremost, what was you guys' takeaway? Let me hear. What was your takeaway on this game here between the Eagles and the Raiders? What was your takeaway? And I'll tell you my takeaway right after you guys. What did you take out of that football game? What were some of your number one, number two, number three takeaways from that Raider game? Okay? Let's see. We still suck. No. We still ain't shit, Silz. Here. I got to find a glazed donut. Let's see here. Pete Carroll deserves better. 30 snaps from center. Okay, that's good. Okay. McKee killed 10 minutes. All right. Yes. Yes. I got that written down here. Yes. I'm noticing that the last two games, actually, too. So what did you learn, Jessica, about Jalen Hurts from that Raider game? What did you learn, Jessica, about Jalen Hurts? By the way, I didn't learn anything about the team. You took care of business. You beat a shitty team. And now you want to get thanked for not robbing a bank. I'm not impressed with that win. At least offensively. That's not an impressive win. It's an impressive mentality win. You took care of business. You showed up. You didn't play down to your competition. Here, Carolina played down to their competition over the weekend and got beat by the Saints. That's playing down to your competition. The Eagles didn't do that. By the way, that's a pretty big item. Not playing down to your competition is a big deal. That's not something that's to glaze over. So I give you that. The lack of penalties, I think, was big. Turnovers. The lack of turnovers was big. Only thing I saw that was impressive was AJ's TD. Okay? Nice win for morale, but we still got a long road. I love that take, and that's a realistic take. By the way, I got to tell you guys, a lot of you are, listen, I'd say the majority of the Eagle fan base is kind of where I'm at. Hey, look, nobody's suggesting to you that you're not a good football team. But I think you're in it with the rest of them. You know, I heard Xander John saying, I don't really see anybody in the NFC that frightens me. Well, I'm sure those teams are also saying the same thing. I don't see any team in the NFC that frightens me. Eagles don't frighten anybody. The only team that I would think, because of their front seven, is the Rams. Rams still had 34 points put up on them. Okay? They still had 34 points put up on them. Since you can stir up the Eagles' nest with your words, imagine if the Eagles had Allen. That would be amazing because you could cover and glaze also. Well, I saw a guy down like 21-7 lead his football team back against the Patriots on the road. And Superman had to put his cape on, and he did. Remember, Jalen Hurts can play like shit and you win. Allen can't play like shit and them win. That's not going to happen. You better go watch those Rams. That's a team. Yeah, probably the best team in the league. Some would say Denver. Hey, by the way, Denver's beating the Eagles, and they got the best record. Are you buying them? Are you buying them? Okay? Are you buying them? They beat you, and they have the best record in the NFL. Yeah, I love Senor. Allen played like shit. 3 touchdown passes in the ball game, and he ran for 50 yards in the game. He had 123 quarterback rating against the top seed and the 11-2 Patriots. It's a far cry from playing that fucked up bullshit Raider team, isn't it, guy? All pro never happened. Micah only played big downs and blitz plays. That's right. Well, John McMullen thinks he's the next coming of Lawrence Taylor. They're going to miss him, though. They are. How would you feel, Silz, if the Eagles went to the NFC Championship game against the Rams? Have the Rams number lately? I would think that the Eagles really, I would say this, the Rams have to prove they can beat you. I would. Burrow got shut out by the Ravens. I know. Be nice if he had a defense. Dude, Gabe. I mean, where are you going with that? Are you suggesting Joe Burrow's not a great quarterback? That's so fucked up, man. Okay, so Justin Herbert's 2-0 versus Jalen Hurts. Okay? So don't ever say that Herbert's not better than your guy based on your metric. Herbert's beaten Hurts twice. He's 2-0. Herbert's a shitty quarterback. Well, he fucking beats you. Injuries are starting to pop up for other teams while we're getting healthy. So that might be a huge advantage for us. Devontae Adams hamstring, Parsons torn ACL. Correct. Are you sure that Jalen Carter's coming back healthy? As a fan base, are we nuts? The Raiders stink. So let me give you my takeaway. Here's the beautiful thing. I'm not a fan of your team. I'm Switzerland on your team. You guys are the glazed donuts. I'm going to be the only guy in the Philadelphia area give you reality. Okay? Here's what I took away. You did the number one thing. That's the most important thing. That is, never play down to one's competition. And you did that. Okay? Just because the Raiders suck, that don't mean you suck. And you put that out there and you did your job. The Raiders are decades away from being a contender. Even the commentators were making that comment. Offense is humming now. Defense is lights out. That is a fucking glazed donut take. If I've ever seen. There's so many people in here that are predictable. What does Kansas City do at quarterback next year? Draft a quarterback? Absolutely not. Patrick Mahomes would be all right. First time he's had a significant injury outside of that ankle injury a couple years ago. He'll be fine. They need to retool that offense. Silz, what do you think has a better chance of success, Broncos or Rivers and the Colts? What team should the Eagles avoid to play in the first round? Seattle or the loser of the West. And I got a feeling that's going to be probably San Francisco, but don't be shocked if Seattle has a worse record than what San Francisco does and you line up in the wild card round against Seattle. Now, they would have to come to Lincoln Financial because that would mean the Rams won the West. Okay? Wait, Silz, the Cowboys beat the Raiders, and you damn near jacked Dak off for beating them. Let me ask you this, though, okay? Hey, bro, we have sample size of you guys, too. Just because you beat someone earlier in the year means dick. Except when it comes to playoff seeding. This is good. You're 5-5 over the last 10 ball games. You're 5-5. I saw you beat the piss in 2023 out of the Buccaneers earlier in the year. I saw them kick the shit out of you in the playoffs. That don't mean dick, dude. What happened in 23? You beat Bucks early, and then on that playoff game, you got your fucking heads kicked in. The team you saw in September has no bearing on the team you're going to see in December and January in the playoffs. Again, let me give you my takeaway here. I think you took care of business. It's the first time all year yet you've played 4 quarters. Albeit the Raiders suck. That's a Raider issue. Take care of your own business. Don't beat yourselves. So many teams in this league beat themselves as we're getting into a playoff run, and they just don't show up. Sam Darnold against our line in the playoffs would be ideal. Sam Darnold, man, I'm going to show you something here. That guy is like 25-6 in the last 2 years. But do I trust that guy in the playoffs? I got to say no. Eagles haven't beat Seattle since 2008. They own us. Well, again, Leon, that stat right there, actually, I don't give a shit about that stat, but I hear you. You know, I don't, those things from like the past 2008, shit, dude, there's barely anybody that's on that football team that played in 2008 or coached on that team in 2008. That's Andy Reid shit, isn't it? I mean, right? Rivers has 20 kids. I'll tell you what, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my entire life. A 44-year-old guy get off the bench and almost beat Seattle. In Seattle. He lost 18-16, I think it was. I thought Rivers was going to pull it off. I really did. Guy comes off the couch, and the dude, like, goes out and almost wins that football game for the struggling Colts offense, man. I thought he was going to do it. Yeah. Impressed? No. Glad to see you took care of business? Yes. Is it a morale win? Absolutely. What else? Was there anything that will carry over? Momentum? I think momentum's the thing. I'm a momentum guy. I believe in momentum. I do. Okay? I believe in momentum. So, yes. Other than that, offensively, I saw more Goddard. And I've seen that the last 2 weeks now. Seeing more Dallas Goddard being involved in the offense. I think that's by design. By the way, I really liked the run concept with Goddard. Those little flip tosses, I dug that. To get the run game going, sure, why not? Something else you have to game plan against if you're a D coordinator. They added a little twist to it. Good. It wasn't too dramatic. I thought Tank Bigsby was good. You know, one of the things I concern myself with him is holding on to the football. That's why the Jacksonville, the Jags didn't just move off of him because they wanted to get rid of him. They moved off of him because he puts the ball on the carpet. So, all in all, I'd say this. Yeah, Sue, Goddard, I thought really had a good game with the drop. You know, in a critical game and against a good football team, that drop could have cost you. But when you're playing the Raiders, who had only 76 yards in offense, that's not going to cost you. The Raiders didn't want to show up. But again, folks, I will always tell you this. Just because the Raiders didn't show up, that doesn't mean the Eagles have a pass not to show up either. And they showed up. You don't want to play? Well, we're going to put you to sleep. And they put him in a chokehold early. They did their job. Again, that's not an Eagle problem. That's a Mark Davis and a Pete Carroll and a Raider problem. That game was all more about the Raiders and where they are than where the Eagles are. Everyone knows the Eagles are that team. And if you don't want to show up and you don't have the talent, do you know what the Eagles did on Sunday? They exposed every single thing that's wrong with the Raiders. No quarterback, no O-line, no linebackers or secondary. They're limited at wide receiver. They may be limited at coach. They completely exposed and made the Raiders see what they're going to have to do in the upcoming free agency in the NFL draft. There were more holes on the Oakland Raiders / Las Vegas Raiders / LA Raiders. Put them all together. Whether you're in Oakland, LA, or Vegas, I've never seen the Raiders in that bad of shape. That's as bad a shape as I've ever seen the Raiders. I've never seen them that bad. I worked for them. I worked for the Oakland Raiders. I've never seen the Raiders that bad. And it was the Eagles that showed everyone how far away they are. Kudos. I used to sit with Al and go, that's not a Raider problem that team didn't show up. That's the other team's fault. So when people go like this, including me, well, it's the Raiders. Well, it's not really the Eagles' problems. Okay? I thought Crosby, he gave in a little bit towards the second half of the game. Raiders haven't been nothing since John Gruden left. I thought they were okay even with him. Gruden's best time was his first stint. When they had Ken Herrick and they had that's when I worked with the Raiders. I was on the broadcast team for 2 years, and I would show up to personnel meetings with Bruce Allen and with Al, and I'd sit in on them. And we'd sit there and we'd talk. And I would listen because they were trying to bring me in as a part of the personnel department. Al wanted me to quit my broadcasting job. My wife, we typed it out. We typed my resume out, and Al said, do you want to do it? I said, let me hang in here a little more. And I was on the air at KMBR. I got offered a job to work for the Raiders in their personnel department. So NLQ plays zone, but what he does is ridiculous. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I'm not that. Well, wait, on the defensive side, I'll get to the defensive side in a minute, Stephen. Silz thinks he's 2 years out of college. I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Probably some lame-ass comment. Silz, is there a disconnect between 20-year-olds and 74-year-old coaches? No, I think Pete Carroll knows what he's doing. I just think Pete Carroll came into a hornet's nest, and that organization is just a shit show right now. Mark Davis has been a shit show since he's really taken control of the team from his father. So, the 49ers are getting another third for Saleh when he goes to the Raiders. Robert Saleh go to the Raiders? Why would you want another defensive-minded guy? If I were the Raiders, I'd hire an offensive-minded guy. I'd get somebody in the building that's an offensive-minded dude. Silz, do you have inside intel on Jalen Carter? Spill the beans. How bad is his injury? I think it's more precautionary. Look, I told you, those plasma injections, he could have played this last weekend. The only way you're going to get those shoulders better, though, is rest. He didn't have a surgery. I mean, people out there are throwing that out there. He didn't have surgery. They're injections. It's like a cortisone for your shoulders. Plasma injections are to strengthen the joint. He's having troubles locking out. That's why you see him hitting his arm like this, because he can't lock out. You might have to put him in a vest if it continues. JC, not in a rush to come back. Why would he be? He's got a $180 million contract waiting for him. Why isn't there a better rotation with the running backs? Because they were banking on Barkley to carry most of the mail. McCaffrey had the injections, didn't recover until the following year. Absolutely. By the way, let me take a look at something here. I just want to do something here on Christian McCaffrey, on how good a season he's had this year. I just want to take a look on how good he's been, or maybe not been. Okay, so he's got 922. So he's going to get 1,000 yards rushing. Get this, folks. Christian McCaffrey's going to have more catches than any Eagle receiver this year. He's going to have 1,100 rushing yards and he's going to have 1,000 receiving yards and 104 catches. That's the guy that's making the 49ers move. That's your first team all-pro running back in the NFC. It's Christian McCaffrey. This will be his third time in his career that he's gone over 1,000 receiving and 1,000 rushing. You know, you can make the argument he's a Hall of Fame back. I mean, incredible. Knees different than shoulders. Yeah, I'd rather have my shoulders hurt than my knees. Absolutely, Kay. Gibbs will beat him out. Maybe. But, I mean, bro, Gibbs is not having a better year than McCaffrey. This guy's got 100 catches and 1,100 yards rushing and 1,000 receiving. Something A.J. Brown. He'll have better numbers than A.J. Brown this year. How's that for you? McCaffrey, the running back, will have better numbers than A.J. Brown. Where was he in that game, too? I've seen you all shit on Caleb Williams, and not y'all tune has changed about him. I think he's a liability in that Chicago offense. I think he shows signs of being great, signs of being bad, signs of being okay. He's not a very consistent player. Not at all. Sometimes he looked fantastic. Sometimes he looks terrible. Like in the Eagle game, he was terrible. I think so. Still, you have to prove to me. Here, my take on the Rams, I think they're the best team, but the Rams have to prove to me they can beat Philly. Okay? Christian McCaffrey had a year off. Barkley got worked and broken down. Well, McCaffrey's had a better career, though, dude. It's still attempting to communicate something. Caleb just did hit 500 win mark. Took 2 years. Not bad. Hey, I'll tell you what. Liam Cohn has done a spectacular job with Trevor Lawrence and with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're 10-4 leading the North now. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards. That's not true. They fucked you up on defense. They have no defense, really. Hey, they shut you down on defense. Does Myles Garrett break the record? 3 games left. He got a sack this past weekend. He needs 2, I believe. He can make it. He could do it in any game. McCaffrey won't even win a Super Bowl. So what? What does that got to do with going to the Hall of Fame? Nothing. You don't have to win a Super Bowl, kid, to go to the Hall of Fame. I know. You think because you go to the Super Bowl, you're a Hall of Famer. You're not. McCaffrey will do what Saquon did last year. McCarty. I think you're thinking of McCaffrey. This count hates when the Eagles win. It's hilarious. I don't give a fuck if you win or lose. Get the wrong guy, Junior. I like your fan base a lot. And glazed donuts like you. I accept you. It's all good. Oh, wait. Yes, you do? Yeah, flexing. For 37 years, me broadcasting on the radio and doing this, I've never given a shit. I love the game of football. I'm a fan of football. Good teams, where teams need to go. I don't have a rooting interest. Yes, you do. Okay, I do. That's because you ever heard me rooting for a fucking football team. Like, whenever. Silz, going into week 16, who do you think's going to Santa Clara from the NFC and AFC? We'll do that in a little bit, I promise. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. And as I said, I mean, was I impressed with the win? By the way, there's been 5 shutouts this year. The Raiders have 2 of them. There's been 5 shutouts. in the NFL this year. And the Raiders have 2 of those. I'm not that impressed. I'm just not impressed. You do that to Buffalo, going up there and shut them out and hold them to 76 yards and hold Josh Allen to 76 yards. Now we're talking. Raiders? I knew you'd be here today. Saints took care of business twice against Carolina. How fucking crazy. Then again, no. Maniac, I'll say this to you. I don't think Carolina knows how to win yet. Because they got wins against Green Bay, Dallas, and the Rams. And they've got awful losses. I just don't think they really know who they are. The NFC South is the worst division in football. Okay? Yes. I think anybody in that NFC South is fool's gold. That would be impressive, shutting out the Bills. Yeah, you shut the Bills out. Okay? Right? When the Eagles lose, this guy gets super. Bro, we get super. Here, let me show you something. Guys, will you tell this fucking idiot here? We get super chats because people invest in the channel and invest in the only place that they can talk Eagle football without getting shut out. You couldn't go on WIP. Arguing with the host, you'd be banished. Here you get a chance to talk. You should relish that fact, dude. You couldn't get on a radio station in Philadelphia. This is the only place you get to make those fucking idiotic comments. Is that super chats? The people in here keep the channel going. And we're privileged to have them do it. That's why they send super chats. Not because the Eagles, if they lose or win, we get more or not. You got me and this show all wrong, guy. That's not what that is. You think people and I sit here and hope for more super chats because if I pay? No. I've never done that. People in here invest in our channel because it's the only place they can go. You got the wrong dude, man. I'm humbled when people send us super chats like Hollywood. Thank you. Hey, I may not agree. I may call him a dick. He may call me a dick. But that's not whatever. Investing $2 at a time. Hey, Johnny, $2, $20, $5. It's all humbling to us. Price, there's no price on support. Man, wrong dude. You don't know me from a can of paint, guy. Thank you, President Trump, for attending the Army-Navy game. Don't know why Biden could never attend, but glad to see him at the Eagles game. God bless USA. Hey, man, that's right. I saw President Biden at the Eagle game, and I saw President Trump at Army-Navy. Awesome. Anytime you get a chance to see the Commander-in-Chief at any sporting event, it's always awesome. That we are in agreement. Okay? Okay? We are all assholes. Let's just talk sports. Of course, man. That's what we're here for. So, well, listen. I haven't even got to the topic page yet. Takeaways. Offense. Here, let me go over to the numbers. See here. Hey, man. Thank you, Marsh. We give super chats because we can dip. And we like the show because we have a voice. What up, Silz? What up, Xander? See this guy, Marsh? This is one of my favorite guys. Not because he donates, because he's got fucking a great opinion. Like 95% of you. Okay? Great opinions. Thank you, Marsh. Did Marshall turn around and go, hey, Silz, that was a pretty good win. Hey, did you see Tanner? Sorry. Wait a second. I think I got Tourette's here. Tanner McKee. Sorry. I did it again. Did you see the throw in Samoan? Oh, wait. No. The Mormon missile. That's it. Did you see? Oh, I'm sorry. I got like Tourette's here. Hold on, man. Did you see the Mormon missile? Hell, man. Then they had to shut him down because he was throwing on time. He had a couple timing passes. I'm like, you better shut that down. And as soon as that happened, they shut that guy down. Sorry, I had to bring it up. I just, So let's take a look. The Raiders had 7 first. All right, I want to read you the Raider numbers. The Eagles were 10 of 13 on third down. Boy, you know the Raiders suck. The Raiders had 42 plays. They had 7 first downs. They had 75 yards of total offense. They averaged 1.8 yard per play. I mean, hold on. It gets even, I think, worse. Did they have 29 yards passing? They had 46. They had 46. Okay? They had 46 rushing yards. They had 3 penalties, turnover. And how much they had? They had the ball for 20 minutes. So wait a minute. The Eagles had the football for 40 minutes. I've never seen a football game get over that quick. Hey, Xander, can I get that walkie? He put one up here, man, a super chat here. Went to my 12th Army Navy game this past weekend. If you've never gone, it's all about pride and heart. And this year was a tremendous, it was tremendous. I saw the game too, right to the very end. It was a fabulous game. I've been to 7 of them, Army Navy games. I've been to like 7. When they used to go back and forth between Philly and Baltimore. Okay? Xander, I missed the blue one because I saw somebody throw that up there. Backups against the Raiders starters, so embarrassing. By the way, Mikey, I think the Eagles' second team could have beat that Raider team. That's how bad the Raiders were. But then again, I said it. That's not an Eagle problem. That's a Raider problem. So here, let me finish up here. I wasn't really that impressed. I was like, I'll say this. I think the defense was impressive. Okay? Because defense, you got to go out there and have an attitude. And you got to put people on the ground. You got to be effective. And I thought they really shut that team down. So I was kind of more impressed probably with the defense than I was with the offense. So, I mean, individually, Jalen Hurts' play, I mean, folks, what do you want me to say? Honestly, how was Hurts in the ball game? I think he was okay. He completed 12 passes. He had 3 touchdowns. He ran the ball for 40 yards in the game, 7 carries, 39 yards. I thought that was an important number. Goddard had 6 catches for 70 yards. And, Goddard had 7 targets in the ball game. You're seeing more of that. So, and I mean, Jalen Hurts probably pissed off at all of you in the media wearing that Yankee hat after the game. That was a shot at both the media and also the fans who wanted to see him benched. Nothing's changed. He's still Jalen Hurts 2025. That game doesn't turn his game around. That game doesn't change anybody's. It's a false positive. I wouldn't get anywhere near where the offense. You guys didn't you learn from New York? I mean, didn't you learn? You guys were all raving about the New York game, the second New York game. All of a sudden, he went into back when he played against a good defense, played like shit. And as I said, over the last 10 games, you're 5-5. I don't know what else to say. Like, how many winning teams have you beaten in the last 10 ball games? Let's take a look at this. And you tell me where you think you are right now. Okay? And you know what you hear? I heard Johnny Mack and Xander saying this. We only got to play who's in front of you. Well, that doesn't mean that if you have a tomato can, 5 tomato cans in front of you, that your football team's a good team just because they're in front of you. I mean, that's like telling me this. Well, if I play in the NFC West and I'm playing against all those good teams, the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Rams, and I'm playing those 3 teams, you're trying to tell me you really think the NFC East sets you up for the playoffs compared to the West when you got better teams in the West? Well, how do you make sense of that? I mean, right? Certain teams are going to play tougher schedules here. So since October 5th, and if I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that's excluding Liars Month. Since September, okay, which is Liars Month. That's how I look at a season. First month of the season is Liars Month, okay? Here's what the Eagles are since October 5th. Denver, number 1 team in football right now. You lost. So let's take a look at that. You lost. That's a winning team. You lost to the Giants. It's a losing team. You beat Green Bay, which is a good win. That's a winning team. You beat Detroit, which is a winning team. You lost to Dallas, which is a losing team. You've lost to the Chargers, which is a winning team. You lost to Chicago, which is a winning team. You beat, let's see, we got Detroit, Chicago, and you beat the Raiders. So actually, let me take a look at that. Since October 5th, Minnesota you won. That's a losing team. Minnesota. And you got a New York win. New York Giants. Losing team. Hey, wait a minute. I don't know if Minnesota's still got a losing record. So let's see how many winning teams you've beaten in the last 10 ball games. Okay? 1. Let's see. 1, 2. You've beaten 2 teams in the last 10 games that have a winning record. Double check here. Since October 5th. 1, 2. Yeah. You've beaten 2 teams with a winning record. And you've lost, and the rest of them are all under 500, and you're 5-5. What do you want me to say? That you're good? Is that what you want? I mean, We could use those picks. He downplays everything the Eagles do. No, I'm telling you what you've done. Downplays? Well, what do you want to upplay? Again, since October 5th, first game out of September, you guys are 5-5. I mean, and the only winning teams you've beaten have been Green Bay and Detroit. I don't really fear I hear this. I don't really fear anybody in the NFC. Well, nobody fears you. I mean, you really haven't played any winning football teams. Silz, I want you to say congratulations. You beat 8 shitty teams in the last 10 weeks. Okay, congratulations. You've beaten 8 shitty teams in the last 10 weeks. Okay. That's true, though. That's not a lie. Silz praises the Patriots beating every shitty team on their schedule. I don't believe in the Patriots. And I don't believe in Denver. Wait, I'll take that back. I might believe in Denver because Denver beat you. I don't buy the Patriots. Who said I bought the Patriots? That's like when you guys were talking about the Packers. I've never bought the Packers, and now they lost Parsons. Packers aren't going anywhere. Since when did you ever hear me say I bought the Patriots? I'm not sold on them. Why? Because they're playing the last. Hey, John McMullen's wrong. You play a last play schedule, you're a product of your. The 49ers are a project of their schedule. They're not a product of their great play. Hey, you think there's any reason when you have a bad year they give you a shitty schedule? And those teams turn around the following year? Come on, man. How are you not a product of bad teams you line up? What Tanner's value in the trade sales? I heard that the Saints offered a third rounder for him. It's going to be very interesting to see. I wasn't sold on Dallas. I said Dallas had to run the table. We didn't really think they were going to run the table. Hey, Dallas' Super Bowl was you guys because they really haven't played better football since. They put everything into that game. I thought Dallas had turned the corner with those trades. Hey, by the way, Dallas got better. I never said in any way whatsoever that Dallas Cowboys were going to make a play in the playoffs and they were going to go to the Super Bowl or go to an NFC championship game. I thought they had a shot to make the playoffs, especially coming off of beating you after you surrendered 21 points. Dallas beat the Chiefs after us. Well, does that look like that impressive of a win now? Since the Super Bowl, the Chiefs are like 6-10. 6-9. How come Howie doesn't showcase the Mormon missile to raise up his value to a first rounder? Because, my friend, there's contract incentives in Jalen's contract. He plays 75% of the plays. He probably gets a bonus of $500,000. If he plays in a amount of games, he has something built in there. There's probably more incentives. You got to remember something. That's why when he was taken out at the beginning of the fourth quarter, that was kind of fishy because players have all contract incentives. Now, when you have a $50 million contract, I'm sure those incentives are a little bit lighter compared to a defensive tackle or an offensive tackle. So that makes me question the ankle a little bit. Him heading into this Commander game. Okay? So you might want to keep an eye on that. I thought that was usually you take the guy out probably in midway through. And, so just keep an eye on that. Because players have a lot of contract incentives in there. When do the Eagles consider arresting Dickerson and Cam? Well, I would say after this week, a lot of decisions will be made. Because Thursday night, if I'm not mistaken, is it not Rams in Seattle? Is it Rams in Seattle on Thursday? So the winner of that game they'll be up 2 games on you if I'm not mistaken. With 2 to go, which would mean the Rams have to lose their 2 games because tiebreaker plays no factor here. So with 2 to go, the Rams would have to lose 2. If they lose that Seattle game now if Seattle wins, the chances of if Seattle wins on Thursday night, your chances of hosting the NFC title game in the opening round of the playoffs, Seattle could get beat in the playoffs. This is what I would hope. If I were the Eagles, I would want Seattle to win and give them the bye. Because to me, at the end of the day, okay, Seattle in the playoffs with Sam Darnold, I don't buy that. I buy Matthew Stafford. Make the Rams have to go a longer way for them to win the NFC playoffs. You want Seattle to win that game Thursday night. You don't want the Rams getting home field. Because the Rams, if they get home field, they're going to the NFC Championship game. So hope for Seattle to win on Thursday night, okay? That's what I would hope. Thank you, Steve. Silz, you glazing Mark Holmes. Now who's eating the cream cheese and crackers? How you doing? Yeah. Hey, Dak Prescott had to win that game. They had to win that game. And this is what we talk about. The Eagles took care of business. They beat the Raiders. Okay? They took care of business. The Cowboys couldn't. You don't get backslaps for that. You don't. What Jalen haters? They're still here. I'm not a hater. Hey, dude. Jalen Hurts, there's no difference on him after that Raider game. How many people's opinions have changed on, get this, how many people's opinions have changed on Jalen Hurts after the Raider game? Let's see here. Eagles have another home stadium called SoFi. Yes, they do. Not at all. Not me. Yeah, so get this. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles have beaten 2 winning teams in the last 10 ball games. And Jalen Hurts has had his best games against the Giants and Raiders. All you need to know. My opinion only will change in the playoffs. That's a good take, too. Hurts was throwing dimes. Hurts never throws dimes. He's beaten 2 winning teams in 10 games. And he's throwing dimes? Vikings are a non-winning team. You've beaten 2 teams in the last 3 months with winning records. And he completed 12 passes. He's throwing dimes. Oh, my God. I knew they'd be out. Hurts was throwing nickels. That's not true, Silz. He does occasionally. Okay. All right. He does occasionally. All right. Bland was a waste of money. We always said that. It's cornerbacks, man. Vikings, what? Vikings, what? No. I don't give a fuck what they were. What are they today? That's who you are now. You're only as good as your record today, guy. This guy goes like this. Well, the Vikings were 5-4 then. What are you now? Hey, wait a minute. They may have a winning record. Let me see here. Vikings standings. They may be 500. Vikings. Now they're 6-8. My opinion will change when Jalen gets the ball out on time and starts winning with his arm. And I would say, and his legs. Which 5 years ain't likely to happen. And it's 6 years in the league, too. They're 6-8. Ooh. But they were 5-4. Jalenites unite. Stat over win, Silz. Stats? Talking about wins, dickhead. How many people's opinions change about Jalen even after the Super Bowl? No matter what he does, y'all always shit on him. No, I told you. He's got one of the best resumes in pro football. Can never take that away from him. He's by far one of the most accomplished players in the league. He'll always be in the top 5 when it comes to accomplishments. That's not and hasn't changed. And I've been very clear on that. As a skill set, I've never wavered on that either. So you guys, get this, folks, the Raider game is a false positive for guys like M. Reyes. So he can tell you how good he is. He's not that good. Nothing's changed. Did they need that win like Xander said? Of course they did. And the Raiders were perfect. They were perfect tonic for that. Silz, how are you not impressed with 15 elite passes on the Raiders' formidable defense? We are back. Also, Tanner Manning is 0% in the red zone. Trash. With his 3 great passes. I know. You thought Pete Carroll was going to coach his way. No, I did not say that. Once again, a fucking lie. I said Pete Carroll could be a problem. But they're just not good enough football, and the players didn't show up. Pete Carroll's going to the Hall of Fame. One of 3 coaches, to win at both levels in football, college and the NFL level. He's going to Canton. Silz, with a few games left, we will see more design runs from Hurts. I don't think so. I think that injury that he sustained in that Raider game will be something that they will have to take a look at how they're going to approach the rest of the season. The defense is getting better based on what? The Raiders? How do you know that when you haven't really played any good football teams in the last 3 months? Listen, Detroit, Green Bay was a great effort. Give me another effort in the last 2.5 months. Here. Did you have a great effort against the Raiders? Or the Chargers? Not too bad. Chicago, you didn't. Dallas, you didn't. You surrendered 21 points. Detroit, yes. Green Bay, yes. New York, second time, yes. Minnesota, yes. New York, terrible. Denver, terrible. I mean, you've beaten 2 teams, let's see, since October 5th with winning records. Okay? Let's see. 31-0. Defense wins championships. Bro. Yeah, I mean, great. If you think the Raider game, that's how you see that, you're a glazed donut. Raiders, so sad. I was a huge Raider fan in the 70s with Kent Stabler and Madden. It's really sad to see where the Raiders are now. And the Eagles expose every single hole they have. Quarterback, O-line, D-line, D-tackle, linebacker, safeties, corner, everywhere. They're bad at every level. Bad at every level. Again, that's not an Eagle problem. I bet this is torture for you, Silz. No, it's not. I didn't learn anything about your Eagle team. Torture? No. Why is it torture? I learned nothing. How could you have? Okay. What did you learn about your Eagle team off that game on Sunday? Dak is having a great year.